We're back, folks. Look at that. Trying out some old software again because new software isn't working like we want it to because technology is technology. That's Leroy and Michael. Look, he, I don't.
I put
This,
on these shades because Rockstar's future is so bright. I needed to cover my eyes.
okay. I mean, that is a take. This is the We Trying channel, Nerdy by Nature Productions. Yeah,
A, Nerdy by Nature Productions. Got to get that A in there.
sure. Okay. Yeah, we're talking about the video game company Rocksteady, known for the Arkham franchise. They had three pretty well established games. Everybody was hoping they were working on a new Batman game. I know the rumor was, or at least what people were saying, and maybe I just bought into that, they were maybe working on a Ninja Turtles game using the Arkham type engine. But we're getting Suicide Squad kills the Justice League.
Yep.
Trailer that
Set in the Arkhamverse.
set in the Arkhamverse. A game, the first trailer that came out earlier this year did not wow people at all.
Keep in mind that movie. That sorry, I said movie. That game was supposed to come out in 2022.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, yeah, the first trailer we got, like full gameplay trailer earlier this year, I believe, did not wow people. People are like, this is games as a service. You're just shooting people with purple dots. I don't want to pay for all these transactions. It's just four of them. What are we going to do? Since then, they have started kind of a developer diary series. The first one is out, and I thought they were going to, with you and I talked about it, we thought they were going to release them weekly. I don't know that the second one has come out yet. Last check, I just still see the first one or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll play it intermittently as we talk about the game. But I mean, what are your thoughts, man? You saw this 19-minute video, or are you now sold on Suicide Squad kills the Justice League?
So I'm one of the few people who was willing to play this when it was still a live service game. Only because I love everything about this game. It's it's different. It was different characters that Rocksteady was going to get to play with. It was set in the Arkhamverse. I'm not gonna say I was sold, but I like the idea of it. But then again, I'm a sucker for Batman type stuff or the Bat family because remember, I was one of the people who was like Gotham Knights, yeah. And then the
And you
game
still haven't
came
played that
out.
yet, have you?
I haven't.
Okay.
I my catalog is so like I'm still playing Forbidden West right now. Um, I hadn't even got to uh, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 yet. I still got Greedfall PS5 updated version that I got for my birthday still wrapped. Like there's so many games that I have to get to that this isn't even. I'm not there yet. Um, but I was excited about this game, and then I heard the noise surrounding it, and I was like, I get that. Like I'm not a big live service game, but I was willing to give Anthem a try. I was willing to give Marvel's Avengers a try.
You
And
gave it a try after it was already dead.
no, I didn't.
You
I
did
gave
not
it
play
a
it
try.
day one.
Say what?
You didn't play it day one.
I never said I was going to play day one. I said in the beginning that the game looked bad when it came out. And when it came to be $10 or $15, I played it. But then subsequently, about a few months after I bought it and played it, they were like, March of this year, download all the skins and stuff because the servers are going offline. And I was like, okay, cool. But I was willing to give it a try.
Hmm.
But no, if it's a comic book game, I'm willing to give it a try. So I was willing to give this a try.
So you are willing to give it a try, then I guess.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, I
Okay.
said that. If in every video, go back and look. I've had concerns, but I'm willing. I was willing to give this a try, and I will say this: can't be any worse than Marvel's Avengers.
I mean, it can be. It's possible. I don't know. I wouldn't say that it can't be.
I don't think
Uh,
it can be. Only because I think this company has a reputation of doing comic book games, and the action for the characters and um, the gameplay. They have a better track record than everybody who was involved with the Avengers game. But that's just me.
Hmm.
That's just my opinion. So, what about you?
Uh, so going back to that original or not original, whatever that gameplay trailer that we got earlier this year or last year, whatever it was,
Hmm.
um, it just seemed very basic, and it just seemed like, oh, this is another live as service game. And we started getting those reports and seeing the screenshots of people paying for microtransactions, and it kind of seems like all these big companies. I would love to be in the room where it happens, between the developer and the publisher, because the developers, I wonder if they have one thing, but the publisher's like, oh, we'll give you this amount of money, but we need it to be like this. Because I would love this thing so much more if it was just a story driven game, no type of cosmetics or no monetization stuff in it, and it's just a straight 4 player
Now,
game.
here's the thing. I like cosmetics. I don't want to pay for cosmetics.
Yeah, that yeah.
So
So that said
okay,
monetization,
yeah.
right?
Well,
So yeah, cosmetics are fine, but I don't need the monetization of it. Like I like getting new skins and stuff, but I don't need to pay $2.99.
then what? Then I guess the way you should explain it is, I don't need a live service game. If it's just a story, multiplayer as far as like or co-op, you don't want it to be live service.
Hmm. You
Okay.
done? Can I finish, or are you gonna keep talking, or what's going on?
I don't know. Depends on if you say something foolish. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So give me the straight gameplay, right? Oh, why did it do that? Did you do that?
Boom.
Okay, fair enough.
I did that. Well, you would talk about gameplay, so I decided to.
Okay. I think I lost my train of thought. Anyway, getting to this new video, I like how it looks. I don't know what they've done in that year and a half of delay when we first thought we were going to get in, like, oh, we're going to push it back to whatever. Um, the gameplay looks fun and fast. It really reminds me of, just in terms of the locomotion, it reminds me of Sunset Overdrive, a game from Insomniac, the people who are doing Spider-Man now. It seems like everybody has a different way they move throughout the city. This first trailer, or this new developer dialogue, kind of explains how they're able to keep up with the Suicide Squad because they're going to get magically infused items and stuff like that. Um, and I,
Did you say magically infused items like this is Zelda?
I mean,
Sir,
magic
sir,
exists in comics.
sir, these are not magically induced items. These are practical weapons and applications that have real world.
No,
Uh,
I just saw
I,
what Harley
I,
Quinn did just now. That's not real world.
sir, there's a
I haven't seen
drone.
that.
There's a drone attached to her. The Noway uh, can hop.
That's not real world. Ain't no real world shark walking around.
That's just because you don't have imagination.
Okay, sure, whatever.
You're like what's old boy in Willy Wonka, the grandpa. Um,
Grandpa Joe.
was it the grandpa who didn't have imagination? I'm trying to remember who Gene Wilder like almost cursed out because he didn't just have the imagination of like being in the moment. Anyway, um, I'm down for this game. I really am because I I want a different slice of life, and I was very excited by the names who were attached to this game. So we just saw Tara Strong up there, who's voicing Harley Quinn. We know that Deborah Wilson is going to play Amanda Waller.
They just
I
showed
was
Samoa Joe as King Shark.
yes, Samoa Joe is King Shark. The big reveal was at last year's Game Awards, which makes me wonder: will there be another big trailer at this year's Game Awards? Kevin Conroy's back
Hmm.
as Batman. I would also Bumper Robinson, who plays Deadshot, aka Floyd Lawton. I don't know if you were old enough at the time, but Bumper Robinson will always be the dude that dated Charlene on A Different World. I will
Don't
always.
don't remember him for that, but okay.
Wow. See, I'm that. Those of you who remember, you know. Um, so yeah, so like, and then my boo, one of my first crushes, Susan Eisenberg is back as Wonder Woman, voicing Wonder Woman. And so when I heard the names, I kind of felt like, okay, they're not going to bring all these people on and give us a shit game. Does that make any sense? I felt like they listened.
I
Hold on,
understand what you're saying, but I don't agree. But go
hold
ahead.
on. I felt like when those names are brought onto a project, they heard they heard the fans, and they were like, "We have to step it up. This is a Rocksteady game." I felt like, okay, we're going to retool. Gabe Newell said it best. I lost my train of thought when with the quote that he talked uh, about game delays and like suck us forever. That's what he said. Suck us forever. And I think the developers heard a lot of people online and were like, hey, let's retool, let's bring it back, let's see if we can fix some things. My question to you is, and I'm gonna throw it back to you because I want to hear what is different in this developer video that you didn't see in earlier videos that makes you a little bit more on board.
It goes back to the locomotion and the way it moves. When they that first video that they showed, it didn't seem. And this just seems like there's more to do and there's more ways to move around. So even though you are just shooting stuff, the way this trailer is cut, it just seems like there's more to do in the city. That one
Mhm.
trailer that we saw, whenever it was, I feel like it was early this year, maybe it was the year before, but whatever it was,
Earlier this year.
okay, it seemed the way it was cut, it just seemed like all you're doing is shooting. And granted, that is what you're doing, right? Because it is a shooter game, but this is cut better for me. So it's very possible it could still be the same gameplay. I don't know. We don't know.
What I will say is that they did go into showing the traversal elements of the game, but they also did a better job of showing how each individual character interacts with the environment. In other words, yes, you are shooting in the game, everybody has guns. However, they did show more of the melee.
Hmm.
They did show Harley Quinn using her bat more. They did show Captain Boomerang using the boomerangs.
Hmm.
They did show um, Nanawe, aka King Shark, using his fists, fighting more. So like the individuals characters are individuals. And I know that you talked about that when we did our video about video games. Your biggest problem with Guardians of the Galaxy is that the gameplay got stale because you were playing Star Lord the entire time,
Hmm.
and that the gameplay got stale, even though you were controlling four characters,
Hmm.
one character mainly, and then the other ones were AI characters that you were controlling. This one seems to be more fleshed out, but I also like the fact that there are, I don't want to say power ups. I'm looking for the correct way to describe it. There seems to be a different way how you play the game with each character. So like how you build up different things. So like I believe this is the part where they're talking about like how Harley Quinn uses her individual abilities and how she can build up um, using the drone flying in. And I like that. I like that they okay. Here's how you use the bat. Here's how you interact with the characters and build up your whatever the meter is or whatever. Like I felt like that was missing in these trailers, and part of it is I think because, and this goes back to your point. What is the conversation between developer and publisher? Because a lot of times it seems like publishers are like, all we need to show is this, and we got them. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Instead of showing, It's almost like in math. Just show me that you got the right answer. No, I need you to show me your work.
Mhm.
And I think that's what happened here. We got to see the work. We got to hear from the people who are actually working on the game and explaining why the game works the way it works. And I think that is something we did not see before.
Yep. And as awesome as this looks and everything, I am cautiously optimistic because I'm reminded of another game that released this year that had a awesome 30-minute presentation in Starfield. That presentation they did at that Xbox panel, everybody was talking about, oh man, Starfield is great. Starfield is going to be the best thing ever. I bought the $300 version of Starfield.
You did.
Starfield's okay. I don't hate it, but you know,
It's
it's
mid. It's
yeah,
mid.
I think it's perfectly okay. And that's fine.
And
Uh,
no, well, hold on.
the trailer
Let
or
me stop. Let me
the
let me
presentation.
let me.
Hold on. The presentation did a good job of what it's supposed to do in selling it to me, and this is doing the same thing. So I'm cautiously optimistic. Go ahead.
I will disagree with you saying that that's fine, because the biggest problem that I have with the problem I have with saying it's fine is that it's acceptable the way they hype that game up, because you and I both talked about it when we saw the presentation, and this was supposed to be Xbox's game to buy an Xbox to get into the ecosphere. And you can't have it just a mid game, a just okay game, if you're trying to break into the same arena that Sony's in, where you buy the console for this game,
Hmm.
whether it's Metal Gear Solid, whether it's Last of Us, whether it's Spider Man. You're buying this console for this game to play in this ecosphere. And that's why I disagree with you about, like, it's fine. No, it that wasn't what was sold to us. What was sold to us is this is a revolutionary game on the scale of Skyrim, on the scale of Fallout. So I'm not I'm
Well, I
I'm
would
not
say the
saying,
game is on that same scale. The problem is they need a new engine. It's the same. It is the same scale. I think of those games.
time out. Scale, not as far as like size. I'm talking scale as far as gameplay, as far as ingenuity, as far as like storytelling. I'm talking a scale is like involving you into the game, or it getting you involved in the game on a level that Skyrim was when it was released, where Fallout was where it was released, New Vegas when it was released. That's when I mean scale, in keeping you engrossed in that game. When you look at people who talk about Starfield now, they're like, just like you said, it's okay.
Mhm.
That wasn't what it was sold to us as. And I think on this level, this game was not sold to us that way. But even Rocksteady realized that we have a pedigree we have to live up to, and let's dial it back. Let's figure out what didn't work, and let's focus on those parts. Now, this all could just be a snow job. This all could just be James Gunn selling us on Flash, or
Mhm.
selling me on Flash because you weren't all in like I was.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that when this new trailer came out, everybody talked about, oh, the game's not live service anymore. I don't know that
We
that's
don't.
true.
Yep. Yep.
And all the
Yep.
headlines kept saying, well, I don't know that the headlines, the way they wrote it, it could be misleading as it's not live as service. And I think we don't know that that's true. It's just they didn't focus on that in this particular developer diary.
Correct.
So it still
Correct.
could be, but maybe the gameplay is so fun you won't care. And I mean, hey, there are some live service games that people love. Destiny, not in the greatest space, but for a while, Destiny 2 was what everybody was playing all the time. A live service game. Uh,
Yep. And for some people, it doesn't feel like a live service game because they don't purchase all of the things that live service games sometimes will force upon you. Like, I love Destiny, I really did. I probably will get back into it once I get an Xbox and I can just get all the DLC and just run through it.
Mhm.
I don't need all the skins. I don't need all that stuff. I enjoyed the story of Destiny. Um, I I don't play war. I don't play Warframe as much as I used to, but I don't need like Warzone. I don't care about Warzone because I don't. That's not for me. That's another live service game that is very popular, but I don't need that. I want engaging story, good gameplay. I don't need great gameplay. I need good gameplay to keep me invested, to keep playing the game. And the setting for this is immediately after Arkham Knight. I want to see how Kevin Conroy, who plays Batman, is still Batman alive in this universe because, according to the last game, Batman's dead.
Mhm.
So, how is Batman still alive? How does Brainiac show up? How has the Justice League handled Batman dying, but now all of a sudden he's still alive? Um, do you actually kill the Justice League, or do you release them from the mind control that Brainiac has them on? And I would also like to know DLC going forward. Are you introducing other Justice League members for you to hunt down? Because that would, to me, that'd be very interesting. Like, are you going to introduce Hawkman or Hawk Girl? Are you going to introduce Martian Manhunter?
Mhm.
Um, what Flash is this? Is this Barry Allen or Wally West? And vice versa. Well, you did introduce, so like, does the Bat family show up? I have so many questions as far as like how the story progresses. So if you just get the gameplay to mid, and Rocksteady has shown that they know how gameplay works um, when it comes to these games. So I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt only because they have the pedigree and the history, kind of like you did with Red Dead uh, and Arthur Morgan and his story. You were willing to give the benefit of the doubt, even though the game hadn't come out yet.
You say so.
I believe you did. I could be. I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
I
But
don't
I
remember
just
that conversation, but if you say so.
I just remember you being really hype about this game because I remember you selling me on Red Dead Redemption because I was like, I never got into it. Red
Mm.
Dead Redemption was never my cup of tea. And you were like, dude, this game is awesome. And then I used to chastise you because you were like, because I was like, you never finished it. And you were like, I'm just fucking hunting and fishing. And I was like, you can do that in real life.
Not
I can
like
go get
this.
you a pole
Not like this.
right there, right. And you were like, not like that. And so, and again, I could be biased. You're right. I could be biased.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of any other passing thoughts on this. We're putting this up on Thanksgiving, Black Friday. I don't know what day we're going to put this up. We'll put it up one of them days.
Is this a day one purchase?
No, I think my next day one purchase game is probably Final
Final
Fantasy
Fantasy.
VII
I
Part
knew
2.
it
Yeah, that's probably my next day one purchase. Nothing else I really need. Um,
because you didn't even do Spider-Man day one purchase or Super Mario Wonder, did you?
nope. Hoping to get those for Christmas. So yeah, yeah, I might tell my niece to get me one of them games. Um, but let me think. We talked about that. Talked about that.
I'm trying to figure out. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if this is a day one purchase. I need to see more. I like personally. So right here, the drone and her hopping. I'm because I love the Arkham games and I'm a Batman nerd. I'm more in I'm more in line. Like this game speaks to me. I'm willing to give more leeway, deference to this game than maybe you are.
Hmm.
But this is a type of game that I like more so than you do.
Sure. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, yeah. If it wasn't just like primarily focused on shooting with melee elements, I probably would like it more because I'm not the biggest shooter fan to begin with. Um, and even
And you're
though it's
not,
not the same studio, but it
and
all
you're not,
is
you're not a bit, you're not as high on the Batman games as I am.
okay. Um,
Only reason, no, the only reason why I say this is because I've bought like action figures from Arkham Knight.
mhm.
Like I bought a diorama that has the Arkham Knight busting through, fighting Batman that I've posed different places in the house. So like that's why I said like I love Batman is one of my favorite characters. The Arkham games are one of my favorite games, favorite franchises. So to see an expanded universe and different characters from that universe interact, and it's Kevin Conroy, I guess I'm more willing to overlook some things that maybe you aren't in the same way I was willing to overlook certain things in Cyberpunk that you were like, it's okay. And I was like, I love this game.
Mhm.
I'll play it all day. Where you're like, this is not my cup of tea. Does that make more sense?
Kind of, but when I was playing it, it was still filled with bugs. Like you played it when the bugs were kind of taken out, right?
No, I still played it when there were still bugs. Like I still played it. There were still some bugs, but it wasn't. It wasn't definitely wasn't day one.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing I wanted to talk about was another reason why I'm cautiously optimistic is because it is a different studio, but it's still Batman stuff. Gotham Knights, those trailers everybody was excited for when that game came out. There was like, oh, this is not great.
I was a sucker
Um,
for it. I still watch that trailer.
yeah, Gotham Knights. I beat it and I enjoyed it, but I played it as part of PlayStation Plus. I didn't pay anything for it. Well, I paid
Mhm.
PlayStation Plus price, but I got it with my subscription. I was like, okay, this was fine. But that is a game that probably should have been 5 hours shorter than it was. Um,
Really.
it is very repetitive, doing the same thing.
Question:
Um, yeah,
Who did you play as?
Nightwing.
Okay.
Yeah, I played as Nightwing, and I never changed to anybody else.
Hmm.
Didn't care to. I was like, oh, this is fun.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, it was okay. I think this will be better because I mean it definitely looks better. Granted, that was don't know why that needed to be PS5 and Xbox One because it looks like it could have been PS4 and Xbox or not Xbox One, Xbox Series X. But yeah, this looks better and it just seems to have more fun and the story just seems to go places that to be
Yeah.
more active than Gotham Knights was. Because no spoilers for Gotham Knights, but you could tell what's happening. You're like, oh, this is gonna happen, and then it happens.
I guess for me the humor, but again, I am biased. But I love that first trailer where they were like talking, and then Captain Boomerang was like talking shit, and then remember when Superman shows up, and then they hit Superman, and he hit Superman in the head with the boomerang. Like I just like the humor, and I love the Suicide Squad.
Hmm.
So I I'm personally, and again, it's almost weird to have this conversation and almost unfair because I am biased. And I'm admitted my bias. I love these games from Rocksteady, so I'm not an impartial observer when it comes to like being critical of them because I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt for these games. So I can definitely admit that.
Word. I mean, I feel like we kind of wrapped it up here. We went about
Yeah.
30 minutes. That's long enough. We don't want to
Mhm.
get back to your families for the holidays or Black Friday shopping. Maybe you're going to pre-order this game. I don't know. Um,
We
yeah.
do have in the works, just like we did with Marvel. What characters would you like to see have their own game in the DC universe? Um, this is not a game that I personally would have said, "Hey, give the Suicide Squad a game," but I'm glad it's here. Like this wasn't something I'd have been like when we did the Marvel games. I was like Blade, Daredevil. These aren't the characters that I would have given a game to if I had thought about it. but I'm glad it's here. But we do have a more expansive video coming up eventually where we talk about which DC characters should get their own game and what kind of game should it be.
Cool. Until then, I'll put up the little tag here. Let me get out this video so they don't copyright stream us. You know where to find us. We find y'all Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, Threads, YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, all those places so you know when we put up new videos. We'll be back with either more recorded or live content. Until next time, we out.
Deuces.